Hi, it's your yoga teacher. Today I'd like to talk about courage and how it's important for our personal growth and not only in the yoga practice but also our own personal development. Oftentimes when we practice, we'll come to maybe a pose that we do not like. Our body doesn't like it. We do not like it. And if we could choose to, we would rather avoid practicing all those poses together. And that can be an interruption in your practice, and that can associate negative feelings to your practice. So instead of letting the fear control you, I'd like to invite you to confront those fears. Because when we do, we can build a sense of courage and resilience. The dog probably knows a thing or two about both fear and courage. So while we're practicing how to cultivate courage into our own being, we will have this barking dog to accompany us too. All right. Let us do a mental exercise on courage, shall we? First of all, think about a yoga pose that you avoid or dislike. It can be any pose at all. It doesn't have to be a challenging pose even. Maybe it's a really boring pose and you feel frustrated that you cannot do it as perfectly as you like to. Something that you feel negative towards, you feel scared of, you feel that you like to avoid them, and you can use a sense of courage facing them. Yeah? Do you have one of those poses? Yeah? Okay. Take a moment to reflect on that particular pose, the one that makes you feel uncomfortable, nervous, or scared. It can be a big, small pose, doesn't matter. Now imagine yourself doing the pose. Close your eyes and visualize yourself how you would be in the pose. Notice any discomfort, any fear, or a feeling of resistance that arises. But instead, try to focus on your breath and stay present. Now, still visualizing the pose, but break down the pose into smaller parts. So instead of doing the full pose right away, visualize yourself breaking it down to maybe variations or just one particular part of the pose that feel more accessible, more doable. For example, if you struggle with handstand, you can imagine yourself practicing it with the wall or supported headstand instead, or maybe you can use a particular tool that help you practice it. So it doesn't have to be handstand, just the pose that you chose. Imagine how you would break it down, make it easier, make it more accessible. Now imagine yourself practicing those different variations of the pose, those small parts of the pose. Now visualize yourself. Again, now you will do the full pose now. But before you practice it visually, I want you to think about how you would just do it like you would do a household chore, just as you would do vacuuming, for example, or mopping the floor, or even driving the car, something you can do it without giving it a second thought. Imagine how you would do that pose that you feel scared of. Again, but this time, just don't think much of it. Do it without any expectation. Know that it's not about being perfect or succeeding, but it's about learning and growing. And even if you fall out of those poses in your visualization, even if you struggle, acknowledge your own efforts and simply embrace the experience. And slowly open up the eyes. And on top of doing this exercise visually, you can also actually practice the pose and break it down into smaller parts and do it without any expectation. Know that it's not about being perfect, and apply it not only to that pose, but any other pose that will come to your practice in the future. And I know that facing our fears is not easy, but you can do it. You've done many more difficult things in life and have succeeded. And I trust that you too can do these poses when you're ready to. Thank you for joining me today, and I see you back here tomorrow.